I cannot wait to share my opinion with you all today and tell y'all what I think about this subject. So I pray that you stay to the end because, as usual, this is a build. There's no script, there's no anything. We pick something and we share how we feel about it. We're all about sharing opinions. We don't have to agree on everything. We don't have to like what someone always has to say, but it's fun sharing what you think and building and having the conversation. So I want to have it with you all today. So, in my opinion, I feel that being into men physically is a masculine trait. Us women, we're not meant to be into men's physicality. Our attraction to men is supposed to come from the inside out. When you fall in love with a man internally, naturally you're attracted to him physically. There's so much going on in the world, whether you're watching TV, on social media, women talking about, oh, I want a guy who's 6'2". I want a guy who looks like this. I want a guy whose beard is like this and dresses like that. That's cool, I guess, but you're limiting yourself because men are not designed to be physical, something that we are into physically. We're supposed to find and attract more so the man that's going to love us for us. You may have something where you're like, oh, I know what I want my guy to look like. I promise you, the man who's going to love you genuinely, authentically, treat you right, all of those things, they're likely not going to fit that package that you're thinking of. They're not going to be 6'2". They're not going to be all of these things because that's not what men are about. We women are the ones that were designed to be physical beings. If it were meant to be any other way, there would be makeup for men. There would be um, all these cosmetic surgeries, all the things that we do, the weaves, etc., the lashes. There would be the male equivalent to that if it was meant for men to be that. There would be height surgery would be the norm, just like boob jobs and makeup, weave, all of this is normalized in our culture. There would be knee alignment surgeries would be the norm. Just all of these things that we desire, there would be male enhancement versions of it as the norm, but it's not, and it shouldn't be, because physicality is not what's supposed to attract us about a man. It's supposed to be who they are inside, their integrity, their character, their morals, how they treat us. That's what we're supposed to fall in love with and be attracted to. And then the physical, naturally, when you're being loved, when you're being appreciated, when you're being treated well, when a man is being a man to you, then the physicality, you naturally are attracted. You see everything about him as attractive physically after you fall in love with their internal, because that's how we were designed. We were designed to fall in love internally with men. Men are more so supposed to be into a woman's appearance because that's how we were designed. God designed us to be things of beauty. God designed us to attract in a physical type of way, not solely physical, but we are designed to have a physical attraction to us to attract men. So if you're into men for their physical, you're acting in your masculine energy. That's masculine type stuff. So if that's the case, when you take that away, you can really attract the man for you, the perfect guy, because you've taken the masculine aspect, which is being into physical, out of yourself, and you're attracting him with your feminine eye, which is an eye for his internal. And I like to dig a little bit deeper and share a little bit that I know from personal experience. I know for me, I would never even desire to have a man where I was attracted to him physically first. And that's why I've never had the specifications of, oh, he has to be a certain height, a certain weight. I've never had those things, and I don't have those things because, one, as I said, that's going to limit me to who I'm not able to really see who really loves me for me if I have those types of barriers that are very vain and not seen with my feminine eye. But on top of that, and this, I really want y'all to hear me when I say this because this is really important. The main reason I wouldn't want that is because when you are into a guy from a physical realm and you're so physically attracted, you are ignoring everything bad about him internally. You're ignoring all his red flags. That's why there's so many women who have kids, who've had a family, who have dated men who are no good internally, that really don't love them, really don't like them, really don't cherish them a lot of times because they were into the flesh. They were into the physical aspects. Oh yeah, he's the height I like. He's the weight I like. He's the skin complexion I like. He has the beard I like. I like his hair. I like his drip. I like his swag. I like what he wears. I like his cologne. Those types of things are a facade. They cloud your mind. And the main thing, please listen here. When you deal with men on that level, it attracts and it brings out the Jezebel spirit in you. It brings out the nastiest characteristics of you a lot of times. And I know this from personal experience. When I was like that many, many, many moons ago, when I've allow myself to get caught up into being so physically into a guy, that's when I was breaking my character. I was losing my integrity. I was being less than my normal womanly self because I was jumping through hoops to be with him because I wanted him so bad. I wanted that guy, whoever it was at the time, so bad because I was so physically drawn that my Jezebel nasty ungodly spirit was calling for him. And that put me in a position to be my worst self because the part of you that is into men physically is not your godly side. I promise you, God wants you to attract the man that loves you the best. And a lot of people don't want to hear it, but it's so true. The man that's going to love you the best, he might be cross-eyed. And that's funny, but I'm serious. He could be 5'1". He could, you don't know what kind of physical package he is going to come in. But it's what really matters and what's really important in life is who is going to love you the best, who is going to be loyal to you, who is going to treat you how you want to be treated, who are you compatible with. That 6'2" guy with the beard, with the whatever you're into, whatever your physical aesthetic is, the guy with all those things, I'm telling you, most of the time, he's not the one internally. He's not the guy that's going to love you right. He's not the guy who's going to love you right, depending on what you attract. If you don't like what you're attracting, guess what? You have to change you. You cannot control who is into you unless you change you, right? And you shouldn't want to change you anyways. That's not the point. You should want to be your true self and attract who is really going to love you genuinely. And who is going to love you genuinely may not match the physical package that In your mind, you think that you want. When you tap in with God and you tap in with yourself and realize what's really important, and some people, you have to go through it. Some people have to date and be with, marry, procreate, whatever, with those guys who have all your physical checks, and you see they are not it. And then eventually you may get to a level of emotional maturity where you decide, okay, what really matters is how a man treats me. What really matters is a man who's respecting my boundaries. What really matters is someone who is trying to build and I can pour into and they can pour into me and we can love one another. A person who I'm compatible with. No matter, some people have to go through it, but it's great if you could just listen and take this in and not have to experience it for yourself, especially if you're a young person. You're a young person, you don't even, you can just skip through that part and just remember, hey, how someone treats me is what matters. How a man treats me. The world has people so caught up in this physical stuff. And I see it from people of all ages. There's older women in their 60s still talking about, I need a man who's taller. I need a man who's this. At 60, at 70, at 40, at 50. You don't want to be one of these. You don't want to be in this position. You want to attract who's going to love you properly and treat you how you want to be treated. And you cannot control what kind of physical package that comes in. And more importantly, like I said earlier, you should want somebody where you're attracted to their internal and then the external follows, because it does naturally go that way. Because that's how us women are designed to love. That's how we're supposed to love. The way that we're loving right now is very worldly. It's keeping us divided. It's keeping us from finding the person that we're meant to have, because we're so caught up in physical things that really don't matter. They always say, a lot of men even get this more. Men are supposed to be into women physically, and there's no excuse not to, because they give us all the tools to be as attractive as we can be. They give us the makeup, we have the hair, we have the extensions, we have the boob jobs, the BBLs. Any way you want to look is available to us as women. So we're meant to draw men in physically. But men look how they look. Their height is their height. Their size is their size. Everything about them is what it is. And we're supposed to fall in love with how they treat us. Nothing more, nothing less. It's keeping us single. It's keeping us vain. It's keeping us unhappy. Because again, if you are one of those women who does get what you like physically, a lot of times they are not going to treat you how you want to be treated. And that's natural. That's how the attraction goes. Because again, the physical part of you that's attracted to his physical is not your godly self. That's your Jezebel self inside coming out, that's desiring that man in that way. So I really appreciate anybody who got through this. Please let me know what you think. Please see how you feel. Even if you disagree, just say, hey, I'm gonna just try to be more open with not being so vain with my physical limitations. I'm gonna actually get to know men internally. It's so important because we're living in a world where they want us divided. They want us fighting. They don't want us together. They don't want us together financially. They don't want us together economically. They don't want the family unit together. They don't want couples together. They don't want dads in relationships with moms raising their kids in a two-parent household. They don't want dads having relationship with their children. They don't want any form of unity. They're attacking it in all ways and shapes. And we can't necessarily control how they choose to attack us and use these weapons to divide us. But what we can control is our minds and how we see things. And it's so important to see what's going on. your algorithm, all of our algorithms are feeding us toxic information that has us hating and disliking one another. And women, we are at the forefront of it, putting down men, putting down each other, just being nasty and not seeing the good in one another. Men cannot control how they look like we can. So for us to be judging them on physical basis, it's just crazy. It makes no sense. And I think we should start there. We have to see men internally like the beings that they are. See their heart, see their mind, see their vision, see their way of thinking, see their courage, see their integrity, like just see who they are, see them not from a physical eye, but see them internally, see inside of them. And that's how you find love. That's how you find unity and oneness and commonality. And I just hope we can all get back to that, because love is so important. And there's so many of us claiming to want love, but we're not digging deep inside of ourselves to figure out what we need to do to get it and to attract it and to maintain it and to appreciate it. I appreciate anyone who got through this video. I appreciate even if you only clicked on it for a minute and listened. I appreciate you as always. I'm reading a really good book right now. It's called The Boy Crisis. It's a great read. I just started it. Well, I shouldn't say I just started it. I started a little while ago, but I often read several different books at a time. So this is one of the ones that I'm reading. So I'm thinking about at the end of each video just reading a page or two out of it and seeing who gets to the end, and if y'all want to keep hearing a page or two of it with every video, I'll do that, because it's a great read. And so many of us are just brainwashed by the algorithm. We want to believe what we believe, and we don't want to read into anything. We don't want to understand the other side. And I think this book is great. So I'm going to start this video with that. We have just a few minutes before it hits 20 minutes, which is perfect. So we'll read a page or two of The Boy Crisis. You should definitely pick it up. And yeah, if you stay to the end and you're listening to me read this, let me know in the comments. Let me know so I know who's interested, who's not. I'm going to do this for several videos and see. I'm not just going to go off of this one video, of course, but I hope a couple of you do listen to the end and enjoy it. So let's see. Let's start with the introduction. We'll read just like a page or two. So again, the book is called The Boy Crisis: Why Our Boys Are Struggling and What We Can Do About It. Let's see. Let's go to the intro. Okay. And excuse my reading. Not a professional or anything, but I can read. So, is there really a boy crisis? Okay. In the middle of an invigorating dinner conversation involving a former governor, a minister, and owner of a PR firm, 2 authors, and a UC Berkeley professor, 3 men and 3 women, 2 strong feminists, one of the hosts, author Sam Keene, asked, "If you were born today, which would you rather be, a boy or a girl?" Every man answered, "A girl," as did 2 of the 3 women. At another dinner party, Melissa, the daughter of close friends, told my wife Liz and I that she was pregnant. I asked her husband, Andy, what he looked forward to if their child was a boy. Andy's eyes lit up. When he's a baby, I look forward to lifting him real high and rolling around with him. I guess I mostly think about him being a little older and us roughhousing and playing ball. And I can't wait to teach him how to fish and to play soccer. I remember when my dad pretended to let me kick a ball past him and score a goal. The first thing I yelled to mom when we got home was how I beat dad. I want to do that for him. Later that evening, I asked Andy, if you had to choose, which would you prefer, a boy or a girl? After a second's hesitation, he said in a serious tone, a girl. Today, today, a girl. When I asked why, he was matter of fact. Girls today can be whatever they want to be, guys can't. And I'm more afraid a boy would screw up in school or get bullied in video games, stuff like that. Of course, girls still face cultural biases, both external and internal, but I was struck that despite Andy's powerful fantasy of playing with the sun, his desire for his child to have the best possible life trumped his fantasy of what he could contribute to it, and thus a daughter became his choice. In the past, most dads wanted their first child to be a son. No longer. Andy's deeper fatherhood instinct wanted what is best for his child over what he wants for himself. Is in sync with most dads today. Dads to be are almost twice as likely to prefer a daughter to a son. As for moms to be, they are 25% more likely to prefer their first child to be a daughter. In the past, most of us would have imagined that daughters would be more likely to move back in with their parents and adults than sons, because that was the reality. No longer. Today, young men between 25 and 31 are 66% more likely than their female counterparts to be living with their parents. For the first time in recent history, young men are more likely to live with their parents than with a partner. In contrast, women are more likely to live with a partner. Kevin's dad, William, told me when Kevin moved back into his childhood room shortly after we gave him a wonderful 30th birthday party, I can remember thinking to myself, this is proof I failed as a dad. I never said this to Kevin, but it still haunts me. Kevin, nevertheless, picked up on his dad's shame, and yet something bothered Kevin even more. This girl and I were flirting something fierce at a party. I wanted to ask her to leave with me, but I couldn't invite her back to my parents' home, so I just kept flirting. Finally, she said, it's noisy in here. Should we go somewhere else? So I suggest a bar. She looks at me like something's wrong with me. Then her eyes became seductive, and she runs her fingers over the buttons of my shirt and says, maybe your place? You live near here? I said, I did, but that I live with my parents. I wanted to ask if she had a place we could go to, but I saw how the second I said I lived with my parents, her body language froze. She excused herself to go to the ladies' room, and when she came out, she walked over to a girlfriend, and they both started sneaking glances over at me and laughing. I don't even remember feeling more humiliated. On the opposite end of the productivity spectrum is the boy who is highly motivated. What do he and Kevin have in common? Sensitivity and shame. Amid an atmosphere of Bill Cosby's, Harvey Weinstein's, and other fallen icons, each newly revealed sexual harassers, I'm sorry, rapists, and serial killers leaves a sensitive boy feeling ashamed that he is male. He can feel the shame Royce Mann has absorbed by age 15, as expressed in this excerpt of his 2017 poem, performed for Hatch, a global community designed to hatch creativity. Quote, recently I became a man. It happened the first time a woman avoided me on the sidewalk. When the woman 10 feet in front of me glanced back, she changed direction, crossing the street like Moses did the Red Sea. Her footsteps taught me the danger of my own hands, taught me what it truly means to be a man, though I may never know what it means to fear one. You know, in that moment, I finally understood Peter Pan. You see, I wanted to stay a boy, not become a man, because a man, as I now knew, was a mix between a father, brother, and attacker, mostly the latter. The shame Royce had already absorbed teaches him the dangers of his own hands. His primary view of male identity is someone who is feared. His conclusion: I wanted to stay a boy, a Peter Pan, because a man is mostly an attacker. You can just feel the shame in this from a brilliant boy. The good news: Royce is unlikely to be a sexual harasser, but in no part of Royce's talk did he discuss the healthy aspects of masculinity that he looked forward to contributing to his family and the world. Feeling like he is programmed to increasingly become an attacker will limit his contributions to those motivated by guilt. Whether a Kevin or a Royce, your son is growing up at a time when an article in the Atlantic titled "The End of Men" so resonated with the Atlantic's thoughtful readers that the author was asked to make it into a book, also to be called "The End of Men." Imagine your daughter growing up at a time that predicted the end of women. No boy or girl has ever before grown up in a time that predicted the end of their gender. Anticipating the end of men is not exactly an inspiration for your son's life journey. But can our son's situation really be labeled a crisis? Or is it just that our daughters are doing better and our sons are remaining the same? As the chapters on the evidence make clear, boys are declining in a dramatic way in virtually every key metric. And this worldwide decline among our sons will also hurt our daughters, their marriages, and their child's emotional and global security. Yet we are largely blind to the problem. A Google search on September 16, 2017 for Boy Crisis reveals a first page half devoted to a band called Boy Crisis. Among results related to a cultural boy crisis, about half the articles dismiss it as a myth. Understanding the depth and international scope of the boy crisis has deep psychological benefits. If your son is experiencing a failure to launch, it is tempting to feel like William did when Kevin moved back home, that you failed to launch as a parent. But when you witness the degree to which this is happening with boys in all developed nations, you realize it is not your fault, and there is a lot you can do both to prevent your son from being absorbed by the crisis and to help him turn the crisis into an opportunity. And that's what the boy crisis is about. I'll stop there. That was a couple of pages. Really good read. We'll talk about it as we go, but just my quick opinion. Our boys, our men are definitely in crisis, and us women play a big part in it. I'll probably do a video on that soon, but we set our boys up to fail all the time. We set men up to fail. It's a miracle that it's not worse than what it is, but it's bad. And we play a huge part of it. From the time a child is a baby, they need both of their parents. And just like a lot of women are so messed up from not having their fathers, so many boys and men are messed up from not only not having their fathers, but having a mother that's not equipped to raise a young boy. We just aren't equipped to do it. We are equipped to be mothers to boys. We're not equipped to be fathers to boys because we're not fathers. And a lot of us keep the father away just because they didn't work out with us. We punish our children. We don't love them enough to maintain relationship to where they'll always have access to their fathers. And even if we're in a situation where the father doesn't want to be around, still that's on us because we made a bad choice. It's very important to procreate with someone, the right person who wants to be a present father and a good one. And a lot of us, tying back to what we talked about earlier, will be so caught up in the physical and the wrong things that we aren't asking the right questions and courting correctly when it comes to choosing who's going to be the father of our children. That sets them up for a long life of challenges. But we'll get more into that another time. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. I missed y'all. And thank you for listening. You made it to the end. Thank you so much. God bless you all. Have a good day.